Gina Carano in The Mandalorian. So what is The Mandalorian? The Mandalorian is a series that was created by Disney+. This series is a part of the Star Wars universe and takes place between the first and third trilogies. For those of you who aren't familiar, this means that it was before Episode 7, but after Episode 6. The series follows a lone gunslinger as he makes his way through the galaxy, trying to figure out his role in protecting a Baby Yoda-like creature they call the Child. Along the way, the Mandalorian enlists in the help of former Rebel shock trooper turned mercenary named Carcynthia, or Cara, Dune. Cara's character is portrayed by ex-mixed martial arts fighter Gina Carano. This leads us to the main focus of my research. In what ways does the character Carcynthia Dune, played by Gina Carano, both reinforce and resist female stereotypes in episodes 4, 7, and 8 of The Mandalorian? In order to determine what was considered reinforcing versus resisting stereotypes, I used elements that we discussed in class to better define these categories. Examples of things that I considered to be reinforcing stereotypes were needing rescuing or damsel in distress situations, dramatic or emotional responses, non-authoritative or passive behavior, sexualization or objectification of females in the show, and demeaning female verbiage. Things that I considered to be examples of resisting female stereotypes were demonstrations of physical strength, self-sufficient or independent actions, and main roles of leadership. The 3 episodes combined totaled about 111 minutes. Of that time, Carcynthia Dune's character was on screen for 27 minutes. This is about 25% of the time. For the 12 minutes out of 35.5 minutes of Chapter 4, Sanctuary, which is Episode 4, there were 2 instances of reinforcing stereotypes and 19 instances of resisting stereotypes. Episode 7, titled Chapter 7, The Reckoning, was about 33.5 minutes long, and Cara was on screen for about 13.5 minutes. Within that episode, there were 6 instances of reinforcing stereotypes and 10 instances of resisting stereotypes. In the last episode, Episode 8, titled Chapter 8, Redemption, Cara was on screen for about 11.5 minutes of the 42-minute long episode. Within this episode, there were 7 cases of resisting stereotypes and only 2 cases of reinforcing. Overall, when analyzing the content of the 3 episodes of the television series The Mandalorian, Carcynthia Dune, or Cara Dune's character, experienced 36 instances of resisting stereotypes and only 10 instances of reinforcing stereotypes. One fun fact that I learned with these episodes is that Episode 4 and Episode 7 were each directed by females. So why is a female character like Carcynthia Dune from The Mandalorian so important? Based on a study conducted by Parrot Analytics, upon its release in November 2019, The Mandalorian was extremely in high demand by viewers. Such a large and excited audience means the influence of such a strong female character has the potential to make a difference in the way females are viewed in the media. As you can see represented in the data compiled by a study titled Gender Stereotypes, an analysis of popular films and TV conducted by the Gina Davis Institute, the hypersexuality of males and females in popular films is vastly different. This is also reflected in television. Gina Carano portrayed the character in The Mandalorian as powerful and independent without being objectified or sexualized. In a study conducted by Steven Gupta, titled Cultural and Gender Explanations for the Misrepresentation of Female Athletes in the Media, Of the 207 participants that were surveyed, a mere 5.9% believed that men and women's sporting events were equally represented by the media. Since actress Gina Carano was previously a successful mixed martial artist, exposure like this, especially in a positive light, is so important to combat society's current perspective on females, whether it's female athletes or females in the media. Justine Lar-Balestier, author of The Battle of the Sexes in Science Fiction, stated on the issue of female representation in the genre that women's, quote, participation has become a feminist issue. The mere fact of their presence created a tradition that other women could then be a part of. Based on the results of my research, I would conclude that the representation of the character Cynthia Dune, as portrayed by Gina Carano, was overwhelmingly positive in The Mandalorian. Often this character and those surrounding her actively resisted the portrayal of or references to stereotypical female roles and behaviors. While this study led to such positive results, there is still much progress to be made in the portrayal of females in the media, and more specifically in the science fiction genre.